you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Possibilus the Wise is almost here, and we finally get to know exactly what he's going to look like when he arrives. We have the next legendary airdrop summoner coming to the Chaos Legion set. This is the water summoner. Let's not waste any time. Let's get in here, take a look. These are the stats for Possibilus the Wise. +2 health, trample, and reach. +2 health is very nice, sometimes kind of underrated because it's not a sexy stat, but it's a stat that every card benefits from. And that's kind of unique because if we look at the other stats, okay, if you add melee attack, well, a ranged card doesn't benefit from that. If you add speed, almost always you benefit from that, but sometimes you have a reverse speed rule set. With armor, sometimes like none of the cards have armor from the rule set. So a lot of the stats are good, but health is the one that is always beneficial every single time, and that makes that +2 health very nice. Then we have two that are specific to melee cards, and I'm glad to see that because I said that what I wanted to see from this water summoner before it came out was I wanted a little more of a niche summoner for water. I feel like in Chaos Legion, water is the best element right now. Kelia is very good, and Kelia is very versatile. +1 speed, +1 armor, works with pretty much all of the cards. Yeah, sometimes you gotta have reverse speed or no armor, but in general, it's going to work most of the time. Very versatile, works really well. And I didn't really want to see, I thought it might be too overpowered if water had another like elite type of summoner. And I don't want to say this isn't an elite summoner, but because it's specific to melee, it's a little bit more niche. And I think that's going to be better for game balance. And I still think this is going to be a very good card, but not necessarily a very good card in every situation. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyways, trample, for those who might not be familiar, trample. When a melee card gets a kill, if it has trample, it will move on to the next card and attack again. It can only do that once, unless you have a stampede rule set. Then it can do it as many times as it wants. Once per turn. Reach allows melee cards to attack from the second position. So every card every card on your side will get reach at the start of a battle. It only applies to, like, it's only useful for the card in the second spot though. And I think this is going to be cool because it's going to allow us to put a second tank, a fairly solid second tank in the second spot, and be able to attack still. So reach is an ability I do like, but it's not a melee can attack from anywhere. If the card in the third or fourth spot have reach, they still can't attack, at least not to start with. Now you could put a melee card in the third spot, and then when your first tank dies and it moves up to the second spot, that card still started with reach. It still has reach. It can now attack from the second spot. So every card does get reach, but it's only useful for a melee card in the second spot. Magic and range cards can already attack from the second spot, so reach doesn't really impact that whatsoever. So this is what we've got here. Possibilus. To get Possibilus, he will be here once we hit the next 1 million pack threshold. That'll be very, very soon. We're going to go look at just how soon here in a second. To get it, each pack you purchase directly from the store. Again, secondary packs do not count. Every pack you purchase directly from Splinterlands has a 0.166% chance, or essentially one out of 600 odds of pulling it. If you've bought over 600, you are guaranteed 1. If you bought over 6,000, you are guaranteed 10. So you hit the 600, you hit a guaranteed threshold. You could get more, but like it's when the dice rolls. If you bought 1,200 of them, and then the dice show, they're not literally dice, but the RNG shows that you got 1, well they'll round it up to 2 because that's your minimum. So, but you could get more. You could get 10 from 1,200. You just never know. So let's come over to our pack sales. So when we hit 11 million packs sold, kind of sold, distributed, sold plus burned, the next this summoner will be here. Remember, we are burning 25k packs per day. We need to go through another little less than 250,000 packs. That's 10 days, guys. That's 10 days max. And Possibilus, we'll cross that threshold, and then Possibilus will arrive shortly after that. It's not an automated thing, by the way. So it's not like, okay, as soon as you hit that mark, it's distributed. As soon as we hit that mark, then Splinterlands, the next chance they get, we'll send out the airdrop. Sometimes it takes 8 hours or so because it happens while the dev team is sleeping or whatever the case is. So I know people are always upset about that, but it might be a few hours after. But at max, we're at 10 days. But remember, we have a bunch of bulk buys going on. And with those bulk buys, we don't know exactly how many will be sold, but a lot of those bulk buys are trying to get in before this airdrop. So their purchase will count. They'll get Possibilus from their airdrops. That's extra value. In Mav chat, people were kind of trying to go through and see how many of these guilds and everything, how much they have, how much they can buy, estimating how many group purchases we're gonna see come through. And I saw one estimate was 150K. If that's true, and those are going to go in before this next essentially this next threshold, that would put us at about 4 days away. We might see Possibilus this weekend. At the latest, it'll be next weekend, but we might see him this weekend. And if that buy goes through and you get more FOMO kicking in and people trying to take advantage and get packs in before this next airdrop, we might see him this weekend. So we will see. Whenever he gets here, I'm going to hop on. I'm going to live stream as soon as I can. So we might have some unscheduled Splinterlands live streams while I go try to check him out. So who are the cards that I'm going to be testing out with him? What synergy do I think he has? How do I think he can change the game? Let's not, we're going to go through kind of all the cards here. I'm not talk about it all, but we're going to scroll through all the cards, all the water, all the neutral. But though I want to start with my big one, number 1. This, I feel like, is the biggest beneficiary from Possibilus. Demented Shark. Demented Shark is actually a card that I recommended buying with my new player guides. I did a video that was like build a water deck for under $30 or whatever the case is. I think card value's gone down a little bit, so it's probably maybe $25 now. I don't know. But Demented Shark is a card that I recommended because of this Inspire. I like this Inspire, and I even showed a video and talked about how I kind of like to put him in the second spot. Sometimes the first spot is a primary tank with like a sneak team or an opportunity team. But even with more mana, I like putting him in the second spot as a second tank. And yeah, he can't attack right away, but he's got a decent amount of health when he does move up to the front. And then he has this Inspire. So he's all about giving those other cards extra melee attack. Inspire gives +1 melee attack. And now if you put him in the second spot, he can actually go attack there. So he can be that second tank. He can get an attack in. I mean, he starts off like with that Inspire. He essentially has 2 attack at the bronze level. By the time you get him up to, like, this is actually gold. I know that would be, so yeah, gold and diamond, then diamond level here. 3 attack +1, so 4 attack. Works very well in that second spot, and we're going to be trying to build some melee teams, especially some like opportunity, those types of things behind it. He can give some extra attack. Has some thorns to be a second tank. I really like this card in the second spot, and of course, it's a card that I don't have. Really, I've got so many modern cards, and the biggest beneficiary for this, for this, at least in my opinion, the biggest beneficiary here is a card that I don't actually have. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. I'll have to look into getting him. So I'm gonna focus on more of the modern cards, but we might stop and talk about some other ones as well. Like Sea Monster could be a good second tank. Feasting Seaweed, I think you're going to like things like Opportunity here, because Opportunity, you can hit those weaker cards, you're more likely to get a kill. You get that kill, then you can trample and do extra damage. So I like Opportunity cards quite a bit here. Tortoise Fighter can be a good card in the second spot. A lot of times I love this card, but he's still kind of low health, very susceptible to magic damage. Well, now for 4 mana, you can get 3 attack in, has a shield. So again, he's a very good tank against ranged or melee. So put him in the second spot. And he's not quite as susceptible to that initial magic damage, and he's got that repair as well. So I really like Tortoise and Fighter in the second spot here under Possibilus. You could, if you're being cheap, you could do it with like Frostline or something. We talked about Demented Shark. I wasn't necessarily going to talk about Gladius cards, but I'm seeing Isgald Vorst here, and let's mention him. This might become the best Gladiator card. Now the problem is this is at gold level, and almost nobody right now can play him at gold level. But let's just kind of theorize and look into the future here, because eventually guilds will get there. Your guild might be 2 years away, but eventually we'll get there, right? No, look at this right here. Bloodlust Opportunity piercing with 4 attack for 5 mana. And when it's maxed out. I mean, you also get it even just a level 6 here as well. Your first gold level. Just 1 less attack there. But you still got all those abilities. Then pair that with Trample. Oh my goodness. That's going to be a good card under Possibilus. Absolutely. But I mean, that's a Gladius card. Nobody actually has that. Pelacor Bandit. I do want to talk about Sneak here. Because one thing this provides, Dr. Blight is one of the best cards in the game. One of the reasons is you cannot attack Dr. Blight. You set him in the back, he's got that camo. It's very hard to take him out early. Maybe if you get some blast damage or some reflect damage, you can do it. But it's very hard to do. He's got that scavenge, so he's always one of the last ones standing, and then adds up a ton of health in addition to having his debuffs and everything like that. Well, one way you can take him out is if you trample over the card in front of him. So if you run a sneak team, you're going to get some of those sneak kills, and then you will trample onto Dr. Blight. So sneak goes. A lot of people have thought that sneak actually works backwards with trample, and that's not the case. If you attack the last card in 9, if you attack the 6th card in 9 and there's nothing behind it, you don't trample on anything. You don't trample up forward to the 5th card. But if there's a camo card behind it, or if you're hitting a taunting monster or something like that, you can trample onto the camo card. The camo does not impact trample whatsoever. So using a sneak team would actually be a way to take out Dr. Blight, a sneak team under Possibilus. So Cruel Cephalopod could be a decent, cheap kind of second tank there. Flying Squid already has the reach. You still make him a little buffier. Give him some trample. Deep Worker. We like opportunity, right? You guys know how good Deep Worker is. He hits it very hard. Lots of opportunity damage. Also has Demoralize, has Poison. I mean, he's got some other secondary stats that honestly aren't even needed. He's good without him. Now you got a chance to trample on this to get some more kills. Yeah, that's nice. Lamel could be a good second tank. Lamel really got nerfed too. I didn't like that nerf. Anyways, we can move on. Frozen Soldier is the one you could put in the second spot. Serpent of L is a modern card that I feel like could be good for a second spot. Again, it's a card that's weak to magic, but by putting it in the second tank, you can do a little bit of damage here. 4 attack. Again, this is maxed out, but you can do a little bit of damage. Then by the time it moves up, you could put something like Bakjira in the front. That's going to be a combo I really like, because you can get a high melee attack card, put it in the second spot where it can still get that attack in, put Bakjira up front, and Bakjira is just a great tank, right? Bakjira is very good. With this extra health, Bakjira will be up to 18, actually 19 health when he's maxed out. When you factor in the strengthen, he will now get a +6 heal whenever he's healed. Very difficult to take out, especially if you don't have any affliction or anything like that. It can be very tough. Demon Shark's a card we always see up front. We kind of on stream we talked about this a little bit. How Demon Shark could be really good in the second spot, and I mean he can be useful there, but I don't think he's as good in the second spot as he is the first spot. Because okay, he's got Retaliate. You're probably not going to get any Retaliates from the second spot. Probably not until you move up to the first one. Enrage. So he does all that extra damage once he's been hit a little bit. You're probably not gonna get much damage in the second spot. Now maybe if there's some magic blast damage, could be perfect. Weaken him up just a little bit, get him enraged. Then he already has the trample. So a lot of people thought Demon Shark benefits a ton from this summoner. Like I think he's usable with the summoner. You can maybe use him in slightly different ways, but I wouldn't say like he's a huge winner. Nothing like the Minted Shark is, at least in my opinion. So as you come through, Torhillo could be a good second tank that you could place there. You never see his last stand because he's usually the first card that's being attacked, right? Would we be more likely to see his last stand in the second spot? Maybe not, I don't know, but might be more interesting there. Not sure. Coral Wraith is a card that we've been looking at mostly melee cards, right? But Coral Wraith is huge for this rust. Because if you can take away some of that armor, then you're more likely to get those kills with that Deep Worker and trample on and get more. So the armor is one way that they can really stop some of those knockouts. Coral Wraith and the Rust can be absolutely huge, and it's a card that I do really like, and I think it's got a little more value. I was already using it a lot anyways, but might have a little more value even now. Fiend, you could get your Fiend to attack at the second spot. Oh, we mentioned Fiend, but what about Oh, where's our 1 mana chaos card at? Oh, where is he? Did I miss him? Let's go to Chaos Legion. Kind of the same line as the Fiend. All right, right up here, very first one, Hardy Stonefish. Again, I wouldn't say that like you're designing your team around this, but if you have 1 mana left, you could stick your Hardy Stonefish in the second spot and get 2 attack for 1 mana at the second spot. And then he comes up front and he's now got 5 health and 2 armor. Not a great second tank, but if you're just using leftover mana and all your other cards already have sneak or opportunity or something like that, so they don't need the reach, could be a nice little card to slot in. And kind of the same way with the Fiends, be able to slot that card in. So we kind of went through water. There's also some neutral cards I really like. I don't have a lot of these. If we're looking at wild, Goblin Mech. Look at this Goblin Mech here. 6 attack, a very good second tank. It could be a nice little tank there, and then it's got piercing. It could really rack up some tramples. Get that Goblin Mech running over other cards. Yeah, that could be fun. Another card I don't have, of course. Goblin Mech could be nice. Elven Defender. A card that I don't have, and honestly, I've never had a huge desire to get. But if you're wanting to put a second tank out there and one that's got shield, it's got the knockout, find some stun to pair with it. Could be pretty solid. The card I think I like a little better, maybe you could even pair with it because you've got knockout. There's a card with stun, Chain Golem. You could put Chain Golem up front, then the defender behind it. But Chain Golem, I like, again, he's got that piercing. I feel like piercing and trample pair very, very well. Like my Desert Dragon. That's one of the reasons I love it. You can use a Chain Golem in the first spot, or you could put him in the second spot now. Give him some chance to get some more stuns. Maybe get some more tramples with that piercing. Then he moves up to the front, and you've got he's one of the best tanks in the game when you've got Void and Shield. It's such a nice combo. So that works well. I mean, your opportunity cards are always going to pair well there. We talked about a sneak team with the Sandworm. So there's certainly some opportunities there. A card like Hobgoblin. Look at this. 3 attack twice, double strike. Its biggest problem is it's only got 5 health, right? It's really only been useful. I shouldn't say only useful, but primarily useful in melee can attack from anywhere, opportunity, things like that. Well, now you can put it in the second spot and you can get it to attack with that double strike anytime you want. Works pretty well. War Chang is one I absolutely love. I knew there was one other huge one that I was looking for because this is a modern card. War Chang has trample, retaliate, so it doesn't get the trample necessarily, but the big thing is it has dual attack, ranged and melee. Under normal conditions, you can only use one or the other. Range can only attack from the back line. Melee can only attack from the front line. This is a card I use a lot in like opportunity. I love this card in opportunity because if you can get some melee kills, you can trample. You've got 6 damage for 7 mana, and you're splitting up that attack. Well, now you can get that, putting him in the second spot. He can attack twice. Then when he moves up to the front spot, yeah, he loses his range, but at least you've got a decent second tank there. We're going wild, Raging Impaler. That's a card I like. It's got that piercing. Good second tank. It's one that I always thought was almost a little weak. You could use it as a primary tank, not necessarily bad. But as a secondary tank, like everybody's overlooking the reach. I know so many people are obsessed with the trample and think the reach isn't that good. As you can see, we're focusing on a lot of melee cards that you can change the way you use them because you can make them attack from the back line. And that's where a lot of things change here. So, I mean, yes, opportunity is going to be great. Sneak and those things are still going to be good with it. But those cards I feel like are the biggest beneficiaries. Your melee off tank cards, or even like main tank cards that are now get to play as an off tank. That's where I feel like this can really be a game changer. Then you add even just adding the health in. The extra health, the ability to play 2 tanks up front, like this can be a very beefy team. Very beefy. I talked about Rust with Coral Wraith, right? Coral Wraith's kind of an expensive card. It's from the Untamed era. Scavo Technomancer, that's a Riftwatcher card. Not as cheap as Chaos, but much cheaper than the Untamed era. If you want to get that Rust in to free up some of your opportunity cards, Technomancer's a nice little option there. Where does he get that Rust at? He gets the Rust at Silver level too. Silver. Sometimes I forget where cards get their abilities at. I'm so used to playing with them all maxed out. So those are some of the biggest beneficiaries. Again, if we're going to look at Gladiator cards, a Gladiator card that you can use now, Tatiana Blade, same concept as Warchang. Now you can get her to attack twice, and then she's got Bloodlust too. So when you get Bloodlust, you increase both your melee and your ranged attack. So your attack goes up by 2 for every kill instead of just 1 for every kill. So give her a little bit, give her a chance to get some kills. Then she's got some dodge and it can maybe rack up some health. Would have 8 health to start with. Can get health for every kill. Can become a decent second tank up there as well. Could be nice. Kenjo can kind of become we play Kenjo in the second spot all the time, right? Because of that reflection shield. If you're expecting blast, a lot of times you put Kenjo in the second spot. He can't attack, but you're getting the amplify, the slow, and the reflection shield. Worth it for 2 mana, being able to stick it in there. Oh, now you can get him some attack. It's not a lot of attack, it's only 1. But he can benefit a little bit from that. So I really like this summoner. I know initially there's some people who aren't impressed with it. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's a kitty level summoner. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's completely meta changing. Like, oh, the game's completely different now. But it does add some extra options. I think it's a high quality summoner, and I definitely expect it to be used quite a bit. I feel like if I had to rank them, honestly, I would say not as good as Wraith. Wraith's one of my top summoners. And people didn't like Wraith when he first came out. Not everybody, but on average, a lot of people just didn't think Wraith was very good. I honestly wasn't. I was kind of. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he turned out to be. I underestimated him a little bit. I wasn't in the this is terrible, but Wraith ended up very, very good. I think Possibilus is below Wraith. I would say above Yasik though. I don't know. Yasik's just so fun too. There's a big fun factor there. And Yasik can absolutely have his moments. So I don't know. I think we're good. I think I like it. And again, it's kind of a niche summoner, so it only works with melee. And I do like that because Kelya's so versatile. So Possibilus, I think, is less versatile, even though the +2 health does certainly. It is significant, and you don't have to run all melee attack or anything like that. Just the +2 health and the reach can be a huge factor in getting you a second tank in there. But I like it. I'm pretty happy. I can't wait to test them out. You guys know I'm going to be doing some live streams as soon as we get there. So I know this has been a long video, but I think we've gone through a lot of cards. Hopefully, maybe it's opened your eyes to some cards maybe you want to go pick up, or just some cards you want to go try out. Maybe you want to go rent when we get here. As soon as he goes live, we're going to be trying some of these combos. I'll probably go rent some of those cards that I don't have. We're going to go spam the crap out of them, just like we do anytime we get a new summoner. So it's I'm going to have fun with it, and hopefully that's like this weekend. I actually will be gone this weekend, so if it's out this weekend, I doubt we'll be able to get an immediate stream. But then on Monday, we're going to go in. We're going to have some fun. So we'll see. When do you think he's going to get here? How many days? Do we have any predictions? How good do you think Possibilus is? Are there any I'm sure there are combos. I don't want to say, are there any combos? I guarantee you, my first glance going through all the cards, I didn't pick out I didn't pick out everything. I'm sure there's something that I missed. What do you think I missed? What did I point out that you don't like? I'm always interested to see the comments. Come by my Discord as well. That's always a great place to chat with me, ask questions, whatever you want. I'm much more focused on my own personal Discord now. As community manager, I was in the Splinterlands Discord nonstop. So now I'm kind of home back to my own Discord. So if you want advice or help or anything, come to my Discord. I'm going to give that to those who are leaving comments here or in my Discord, whatever the case is, are definitely going to be I try to help as many people as I can still, even though I'm not community manager. I can't help out as many as I could before, but my priority is definitely going to be going to my own channels there. So if you want to come just chat or have questions or whatever, swing by my Discord. I'd be happy to help. That's usually where I reply the fastest, but you guys can always leave comments down here as well. So thank you guys so much. I can't wait for this guy to get here. I can't wait to be on stream. I will see you all there.